Hi, it's Fright Risk, and today we're going to try a couple of different ways to mount tombstones. So first one is this. Great stuff, because it's great. And yes, I will accept a free case of it as promotional consideration. I love the stuff. Here's what you're going to need from left to right. First, a piece of 3/4 inch Schedule 40 white PVC tubing, like for plumbing. This is going to be about 4.5 or 5 inches long, or measure it so that when it's in your fist, just a little bit sticks out the top and the bottom. Next, you're going to buy this in probably a 10-foot length. This is gray 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and then cut it down to 2 pieces for each tombstone, about 7, 8, or 8 inches long. Next, probably the most expensive part of this is a 3/4 inch by 13.5 inch long auger bit. This is what's actually going to drill into the tombstone. And last but not least, you can see this is my template. So I've cut a piece of wood and put marks on it because I have wide tombstones and narrow tombstones, and those marks let me line up the outside edges of the tombstone. And then I've drilled 2 3/4 inch holes with a spade bit, or you could use a regular drill bit, and that will allow me to make sure that all the tombstones are uniform. And then when I put them into the ground, I use this to drive in the stakes. Now I'm going to use my favorite gray PVC. You need one of these. It's much easier than just trying to saw through it. So you cut it to length. And on this particular one, I'm going to stick it right here so I have access to this switch. Shake it up. You got to be kind of careful. I'm just going to make a little line right here. And that's all you need. And just stick a piece of PVC right in there and just lay it down. The stuff will stick to anything, and that's all it needs to work. Then I'll just use a piece of 7/16 dowel rod up inside there. Well, I'll show you a little bit more about that later. And here's one after it dries, ready for cutting it down or painting. Here you can see I didn't even bother to strip it down. Painted with some gray paint also on the PVC to hide it. And here's one painted black to match the back of the tombstone. This is good for those cheap tombstones that you can get at Walmart or at the drugstores. I usually put these at the back of the cemetery. Alright, here's the second way that I use to mount the tombstones. This is the 2-inch pink stuff that I get at the big box stores. And I want to drill 2 holes into the bottom of this. Now the first thing I've got here is a little jig or a template that I made. So I want most of my homemade tombstones to have the same width. So most of them are either this width or this width. So for the 2-inch pink stuff, I just line it up with my marks, and then I've got these 2 little holes that allow me to drill my pilot holes. Now I made those pilot holes with 3/4 inch spade bit, but then I also got one of these, and that's a 3/4 inch auger. You see I've got a little piece of red tape here so that I can control the depth, how far I want it to go into the tombstone. Now these things are about 30 bucks, so if you want to look online you might get something cheaper or use one of the other 2 methods that I'm showing you on this video. The other thing I've got is a little piece. I just bought a foot-long section, then cut this down, of 3/4 inch white PVC tube so that I can hold it and then drill. Let's go. Now I'm going to cut a piece of my gray PVC, my electrical conduit, to just a little bit shorter than the red mark. Here we go. Alright, you can see that I've taken my tombstone and I'm working flush up against my work table. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to maintain this vertically and keep it as level as possible so that when I drill it's going to be straight up and down and not come out the side of the tombstone or be at an angle. So the first thing I got to do is, once I've had my template on there, I'll just make a little mark with the drill where to start. And I'll do the same thing over here. Now all I need to do is take this tool. You can see I've already drilled this one, but I'll drill through by lining it up with the hole, holding it, and then drilling down in until I get to my tape mark. I can also then take this out and drill a little deeper if I want to use a longer plug. So let's do one on this side and show you how to do it. Push it down through. There's my hole. I grab this, hold everything centered, and drill. There you go. Now all you got to do is press these in, and you're done. Here they are, flush into the bottom of the tombstone. If you wanted to, you could put a little caulk or something in there to keep moisture completely out of the tombstone. Alright, now how to mount these things? Easy, because remember before we made a little template. So just stick my template on the ground where I want the tombstone to go, and then I use these, which are, these particular ones are 7/16. They're cut too short, but it's just for an example. You'd want at least a foot, foot and a half, if not a little more. And then I mark the holes, pound them in. Now that should fit the tombstone perfectly. That's it. See you in the third try. Well, my final method, I'll call it the sandwich method, because it's when you want to put two pieces of styrofoam together. Now I've taken this 2-inch pink foam and I've made a tombstone twice as large by gluing this together with PL 400. And you look here, you can see in between the two sections I just drilled out a small 1/4 inch channel on the top and the bottom of each piece, and then just laid the PVC pipe in there and then glued the whole thing together. You don't glue it in there. Thanks for watching.